What's up, everybody? So, some days on the road just are not fun. Today on our travels through western Texas was one of those days that just aren't fun. There's parts of the country that really suck to travel through because there's not a lot of amenities, there's not a lot of anything, but there are a lot of deer. So western Texas has been quite the nightmare. Von Horn, Texas was one day. We went to eat at a restaurant and it was a nightmare. The lady was super rude. It's just one of those like really bad experiences where like there was only one restaurant open in the whole town and it really sucked. And the person was like really rude. The lady flipped out about because I ordered my steak well done. I like my steak well done. I don't like it any other way. She's like, well, here in western Texas, we don't do that. And I don't know if the cook's going to do it. And she threw one of those, she went on a whole, you know. And then before they brought the steak, she came and asked me if I was sure that I wanted it well done. And then while I was eating it, she come over twice to ask me if I'm sure it's okay well done. And, you know, I don't really like these small town places. And like when you leave, like from Tucson all the way to like Austin, there's nothing. Like literally, there's nothing. I mean, there's no big cities. And the bigger cities also seem to suck quite a bit. I mean, there's Abilene, there's Midland. These aren't really, or Odessa. These are not really like fun places to be. So like the last few days on the road have been through an area of the country that really sucks. Von Horn was a nightmare. If you know where Von Horn is, well, El Paso is okay. But other than that, Von Horn is like this country little town in western Texas. That was the first bad experience. Then there was another bad experience. It's just a crappy, like all of my travel experiences that suck have always been in these like remote, like West Virginias or Kentuckys or, you know, like, or Ohio's and stuff. Like, it's never like in a big city. It's never, whoa. Sorry, y'all, got my finger in the way. It's never a big city. It's never like, you're never gonna have a bad experience like in a big city. It's always those like tiny little towns in the middle of nowhere where you run into like the worst experiences. So like, all right, so today, so we had already been followed by a few days of western Texas, which was horrendous. Today we woke up in some small little town called Big Springs. We go to the Starbucks. The night before, we ate at Big Springs. We stayed in Big Springs, so we ate at Big Springs at a barbecue restaurant. The food was good, but while we were eating, the table next to us was this woman was like really on some country politics type of crap. Like, we're trying to eat our dinner, and this woman's like, I don't even understand why you would go to Alabama on Sunday and then go to San Francisco on Tuesday. You know, they're so, you know, one of those types of people. You know, I don't understand why you do something like that. Everybody else is horrible in this little town except for me. I'm perfect. Like, I'm trying to eat my food, and this lady's like giving herself presidential talk, and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear this. I do not want to hear this crap. But anyways, like, the food was good, but like this lady made me feel so uncomfortable. You know, small town people like that. I just don't have, ever since I moved out of Alabama, my patience for small town people has diminished to the point where I cut right to the point whether they like it or not. Okay, so that was where we woke up this morning. Drove through Big Springs, that was boring. Drove through Abilene, completely depressing. So then we're gonna head out to Austin. We got Austin to cover here. We got Austin, San Antonio. More like, finally, yes, we're back in civilization. You know, this area is awesome. You got San Antonio, you got Austin. We're finally in what they call it, the triangle, whatever. Triangle of Texas that doesn't suck. Sorry to say that for the rest of Texas, but like there's like 5 places in Texas that are awesome: Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and like maybe around Dallas somewhere. Everything else is not you're not excited to be in Central Texas. You're definitely not excited to be anywhere in Western Texas, with the exception of like maybe El Paso. Okay, I'll make an exception for that, and that's almost way the other end of Texas. And there's nothing exciting. So I'm driving on this country road between Abilene and Austin. I don't even know what's out there. Like, just the middle of nowhere. Outside of a place called Yano. I think that's how it's pronounced. I hope they still pronounce it in Spanish. Anyways. We're on this road, and there's already too many things on the road. First of all, it's like 80 miles an hour. Which I'm like, how the crap is this road 80 miles an hour? You leave it up to Texas to have the most ridiculous speed limits you'll see anywhere in America. Like, most of the time people are doing the speed limit. Texas, people are doing less than the speed limit because even there, when people in F-350s are going below the speed limit, you know the speed limit's too high. Basically, we're in these country roads, and it's definitely not drive at the speed limit because the speed limit's too high. So everybody's going like 55 or 60. But we hit a little stretch, and we're going like 80 miles an hour. And it happens. Now, I had seen 2 deer already in that little stretch of road, so I kind of figured it out. Well, somebody in front of me earlier in the day must have ran into some type of Antler Device, and they whacked it. But no, they didn't get out and put it on the side of the road. Leave it up to people in Texas, too. Leave it right there, and for everybody that passes through that road to encounter this in the middle of the road while going 80 miles an hour. So the difference is that they're all in F-350s, and we are in a Toyota Camry. So when my Toyota Camry encounters ground deer, 300 square feet of it, it doesn't really go the way it went for the F-350 or the semi-truck. They flew right over it. We slid over it. So I go through this, I just hold on to the steering wheel, and I go through about 300 square feet of what was left of a deer. Oh dear. So I run across that, and as soon as I drive over it, there's like this thumping noise coming out of my left back tire. First, I thought my bumper was gone. I thought the whole car was gone. But apparently, no, it was the left rear bumper that had damages. But there's nowhere to stop. It's like curves and hills, and people are going 80 miles an hour. I literally drove listening to dun, 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 for like, I don't even know, like 10 miles or something. Where there was a driveway. I was able to pull into this driveway, look around, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It was too dark. It was like on a hill, so like the bottom of the car was literally touching the bottom of the road. So I had to get back on the road, drive another 20 minutes till we finally got to this little country town called Yano. And this is country. I mean, like, everything in the parking lot is an F-350 with like dualies, and like instead of a regular truck bed, they have like a steel truck bed. It's like, walk in there, and it's like everybody's wearing camouflage or like, you know, Duck Dynasty looking people, and like, you know, a girl with green hair. You know, like you're in the backwoods when you see a girl with green hair. So we're like surrounded by Duck Dynasty, and I'm looking around this grocery store like I need to cut off, because I was able to, once I was in that parking lot, I was able to figure out, no, wait, first, when I stopped, let me backtrack a little bit in the story. When I stopped at that little driveway, I could tell that the whole undercarriage of the vehicle was ground deer. So, oh dear. So the first thing we did was found a car wash, because I realized that there was so much deer on the car that I was going to have to find a car wash first. So first I went to the car wash, and I pressure washed what I could of the ground deer. Then I went to the grocery store. So I already knew what the problem was. There's a piece of plastic that holds the bottom rocker panel in place. So I guess my rocker panel will be loose now. I'll fix that later. But anyways, it's a little plastic piece at the end of the rocker panel, and it holds the rocker panel in place. So once I cut this off, we'll cut most of it off. I left a little piece to hold the rocker panel in place. But anyways, so I knew the problem was first getting the deer meat off. So that just took pressure washing the car, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't enough, because when I got underneath the car, First, I pressure washed it. Went to the grocery store, and I found these like pliers that like for cutting wire at the grocery store. Believe it or not, grocery store had that. But again, little hick town in the middle of nowhere, so they had like, I'm like, where am I gonna find this grocery? It's already late at night too, so it's like already late. It's like the only thing open all the time was this grocery store. But surprisingly, they even had bolt cutters at the grocery store. They go in there, grab a piece of bread, some milk, and a bolt cutter. But they had these like wire snippers, so at a grocery store, believe it or not. So I got my wire snippers. And I walked to the gas. They turn the lights off because in Texas, when it's time to go home, they don't say, "Hey, the store closes in 5 minutes." They just turn off all the lights. It was a well-lit parking lot. I was hoping I could cut like the plastic piece off in the parking lot. Well, guess what? When the grocery store closed, they turn off all their lights. So I find this sketchy gas station. So go figure. It's a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, and there's this gas station. Now, if you've ever been in the middle of nowhere and you know there's like a Chevron gas station or something, and it's at the intersection of two roads in like a small town, you know these gas stations are always like the sketchiest places on earth. So it's late at night, we're in the middle of nowhere, and we're at this gas station at an intersection, and I have to walk in. I walk in the gas station. I try to cut off the little piece of fender. That didn't work because when I pull my hand out, you guessed it, ground deer. So I had to go in the gas station, buy some gloves, and then I finally at the sketchy looking gas station, full of Duck Dynasty looking people, I was able to cut off the plastic, and then after that, got back on the road and finally made it to the Austin, San Antonio, Houston triangle, which we're going to cover this area. But what a nightmare to get out here. I mean, just one of those days on the road that really suck. And I hate these rural places like that. Like, I like being near big cities when I travel. And when you travel to these, like, 5 hours from a major city type of places, you know what I mean? Like, 4.5 hours to a New York Marriott. Those type of places suck. And I have no problem with the people that live there. If you live there, I'm good. Good for you. But I travel a lot. And once you get used to traveling and being in big cities, when you have to end up in the middle of nowhere in Western Texas, in a restaurant where you're trying to eat your barbecue and somebody's looking at you while talking about, you know, that Dynasty down there, you're just like, crap. Anyways, luckily, and then on the way here, we ran into a huge coyote on the road, which was also kind of scary. But anyways, glad to be back in civilization. You can expect videos from Austin, probably San Antonio, Austin, Houston area, depending on how I feel. I think we're going to take a few days to rest in this area now that we're back in civilization, because Central Texas, Western Texas, New Mexico, driving through those places absolutely sucks. Glad to be back in civilization. And nothing against small little towns, but man, do I hate uncivilized places. I'm just used to cities, and it feels good to be here. That's all I can say. And the Camry did survive 300 square feet of ground deer. In the real Texas now, part of Texas that I'm excited about, because whatever we just left behind, Oklahoma can have it.